All right, green light.
Get those words!
I don't know. Is that opening segment just too much energy for a morning show? Do we need to? I always envisioned myself doing a night show, but never a morning show. It's like, hi, let's have a sunrise and some happy people. I am not a morning person, but I am. My name is John Polnik. I'm the host here. You are watching Bid Nerd, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer, along with my partner Michael Deeb in San Francisco. What's
up, nerds? Yeah, that might be why our subscription rate is low. Nobody wants to see us in the morning.
It's like, what? Those two yahoos? I mean, nobody ever wants to see us, but in the morning, the first thing, that seems like a terrible idea on your part if you're watching this.
Where do I sign up so I don't have to watch them?
Please hit the unsubscribe button and whack notifications because, that is just... you could totally use that opening segment as your literal wake-up call. Like, that could be your alarm clock. It's so loud and noisy. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is, in fact, Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. We were supposed to have Kelly Smith today from Haggerty. He had to postpone. I guess he's on an airplane or something, but we'll get him next week. We're working that out. It's been a great week of Third Nerds. We've had Reese from Hyper Trash Magazine, Mauricio from Three Pedal Posse. We had Lane Skelton from DWA and RAD For Sale, as well as Bradley Bradell from RAD For Sale and Jalopnik. So we've had everyone on. Kelly, we miss you. You would have been our fifth Third Nerd for the week, and we'll just have to have you back every day of the week next week to make up for it. How's that sound?
Yeah, we'll keep a seat warm for you, Kelly. Get you some free time and come and hang out with the Bid Nerds. Pretty awesome.
Right. Oh, hey, right. Go ahead.
Really quickly, JP. Last night you forwarded me an email from Nick, aka Albatross.
Oh, right,
which is his handle on P-Car Market. So it turns out Nick is the guy who was the person who won the granite green 1987 911 Coupe, the M491 car that we covered a couple days ago. And I, of course, was fawning all over that car. Nick mentions another person that was commenting on that auction named FJ Amoroso, Frank Amoroso. So, Nick, quick story. In 2019, JP and I go to LA for the Toy and Lit weekend in March. On Friday, we go up to Newcomb's Ranch. On Saturday, we did a professor run. Then we go over to the hotel and we see the show for a little bit. And then that afternoon, on Saturday of the Toy and Lit show, we went over to Rod Emery's open house and hung out there, me and JP and some of the gang from LA, and had a blast. I took photos of a beautiful medium blue metallic M491 Coupe that was parked on the premises at Emery's campout, and I posted them on Instagram. Well, it turns out that car was Frank Amoroso's car. JP, you might not remember it, but you'd love this car because it was an M491 with no wing. He did the standard Carrera tail. Now, I'm not sure if his is an M470, which is probably not unlikely, or if Frank Amoroso is just a man of exceptional taste. I think it's the latter. But anyways, so Frank reached out to me and he said, because I guess I tagged Emery, so he saw his own car and he never took any photos. So he reached out to me and asked me to send him all the photos I took of his car. Super nice guy. And obviously, somebody who knows M491s really well. So for sure, at the very, very latest, JP and I will probably be back down in LA in December around the LA Auto Show. But if Ben, the professor, decides that things have cleared and his family and participants are safe and he has a professor run sometime between now and then, JP and I will be down and I will reach out. But thanks for reaching out. Congratulations on the car. Can't wait to meet you in person. And thanks for subscribing, man. That's awesome. What a great story, huh?
That was fun to. It's always fun to get comments from our viewers, the 4 or 5 of them that there are, and it's great to see that there are some people out there in the world that are not assholes. They ask for advice and then go do the opposite of it. But here's the thing: don't take our advice. I'm going to just tell you, be an asshole. Ask us all the questions you want. Do not listen to us. We say it over and over and over again. This is not the show where you come for advice. This is where you come for ridiculous commentary that means pretty much nothing. We don't do any research. We don't do any homework. We just talk about and nerd out about these cars.
Isn't that funny, Nick? Nick says, I watched your show before the auction ended, and that solidified my decision to go out and buy that car. That was the right car for me. JP, I didn't think I was that convincing during our show. And if I knew I was, I wouldn't have aimed it at Nick. I would have aimed it at my wife, and I would have bought the car myself.
Right? I mean, we should have just nerd turned it all over that car, so you could have gotten it. You could have a matching one.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is the car, right? Is this the one?
Yeah, unbelievable. 87 with a G50. Granite green was, by all accounts, was a regular range color. It wasn't paint to sample, but just a color nobody selected back then. Everybody wants red and black. So it's just that, one of probably less than 20 that year, and certainly probably the only one in granite green. So, Nick, you got yourself an absolute gem that's going to only go up in value. Enjoy every minute of it, my friend. And yeah, when you and Frank Amoroso start an M491 club, let me know. I will be the first paid member. Okay.
Is there an M491 group on like Facebook or Instagram?
I don't know if there is. I think Nick and Frank should start one because again, they brought the cars in from 84 to 89. Coupe, Targa, and convertible. So you'd have a really cool, like if they ever got together, you'd have a really great grouping of vehicles. So pretty neat stuff. Beautiful car. Congratulations, Nick. Well done, my friend. I think you did great. Even that great price, I think you're going to be happy about that in a couple of years from now.
Well, there you go, guys. What we do here is we nerd out on the most interesting cars on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites, including P-Car Market, RAD For Sale now, Cars and Bids, and Bring a Trailer, of course, and Hemmings as well. We don't just nerd out about these cars and talk about them and tell our stupid stories that nobody cares about. We also make predictions, and I think that's where the rubber hits the road, right? We talk about what we think these cars will hammer for when that hammer hits the what? The sound block. And we check ourselves. Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah, that's right. We do go back and we review our predictions, and so that's where we always start off in the show. We start out with the previous cars of the day and what our predictions were there. So let's go ahead and do that, Michael.
All right. JP, we first have to start off with Wednesday the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, we had Lane Skelton on from DWA, and I think I got so excited that Lane was coming on. I teed up the 1988 Porsche 944 Cup car. JP, do you remember that thing with the Reebok livery? It's like yellow and blue, and it raced in Canada, and it was one of the early cars on RAD For Sale. So we looked at it and talked about the car with Lane. Lane smartly decided not to take a venture at a bid. No conflict of interest there. But I said 75, and you said 65,000 where that car would close at. Well, it turns out I had gotten the day wrong, and that car didn't close until yesterday. So yesterday, the 18th of March, that 944 on RAD For Sale closed. And by golly, it sold for $89,999 and technically 99 cents, which is, I think, absolutely all the money for that car. Now, maybe a few years ago, these would have brought $100,000, and certainly in a few years from now, this will be a $150,000 car. But I would say that $89,000 in today's market for a race car that you might not be able to drive on the street, although in some cases you will be, some states, this is all the money. So congratulations to RAD For Sale. Congratulations to the new owner of the car. Very happy to see RAD have an organic listing and get all the money for an unusual car that is the coolest RAD car there is so far. I love it. That thing is awesome. Congratulations. I'm totally jealous. What do you think of that result? 90 grand for that car.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of absurdly high and awesome. Again, congratulations to RAD For Sale for getting it.
Right.
I just don't. I mean, there's so many. I mean, race cars are kind of. I don't don't understand the race car appeal. The idea that since a car has won a race or has race history, that somehow makes it more valuable. I mean, I guess if Paul Newman was in it or something like that, that makes some sense. You know, so it's just not me. I get that there's a whole world about that, and it sure seems like race cars are one of the hottest things to invest in from an investment car point of view. Adam Carolla is all about race cars. That's all he's into. He's like, you know, I buy a car for $100,000 and sell it for $600,000. You know, he'll just get into it. But it's too much extra information. It's enough to already know all about these cars and you know the models and the differences between the years and all that kind of stuff, to then add what car was
Racing
in what race and when and stuff like that. I'm just not smart enough to keep track of all that stuff. So I'll never be able to make money there.
You know, most cars don't have any archive at all. And you know, we always talk about Porsche and Ferrari guys are looking for books and records. That's such a big deal. With a race car, you know, you've got this provenance that is the world was watching, and like, oh, I remember when that car lined up and so had a flat tire and it DNF. It's something that more people can talk about, and so it's the provenance that's so special on race cars, and that's why people pay a premium for them. This car is really neat because for less than $100,000, you have a race-winning Porsche that came from probably Weissach to build these special cup cars, I'm guessing. And this would be your probably least expensive ticket to participate, not attend, but participate in the next Rennsport reunion. And I thought that was a great take by Reese from Hypertrash when we had him on the show on Tuesday, and we were teasing ahead about the car the following day with Lane. So anyways, congratulations, Rad. You sold a great car for all the money, and I'm sure the world was watching. Then
hold on. One other thing that I wanted to mention about this car was that it's not even about the car, but I was actually texting with Lane back and forth, and you know, he said, "Can you believe what this thing went to?" And I was shocked when I saw the number. But the thing that was confusing was that at the end of the auction, it said bid to and the number. So it was very confusing. It was like, is this auction over? Or is it still going on?
I agree.
He acknowledged that. He said, yeah, that's a problem. We're going to go ahead and fix that. And he says that there's quite the delay between them and the developers. So they will be remedying that problem if you have noticed that issue.
My experience with trying to help the team at Stratus get our thing off the ground, the teething process is not an overnight thing. You won't fix all the bugs in 2 weeks. It's a work in progress, and it's, you know, at least by the first year, and my experience with Stratus, it's like never done. There's just you fix a problem only to get on to the next problem, and it's just the way it goes.
It does seem too that they it seems like the first few days of their auctions closing, it seems like everyone kind of forgot. There was like RAD for sale. Oh great, everybody went to the site and saw the cars. They saw that there weren't a ton of cars there, and they're like, okay, these cars are going to close next week. And then people forgot that those cars were closing next week because the first day of closes, they didn't. I mean, I think they didn't sell any cars like the first 2 days. No. And then it seems like everybody remembered, oh, right, I got to go check on those cars because both this car sold and they had that Cabrio, that 88 Cabrio 911. And that went for really good money, too. That was 50-something plus. You know,
That's
it was
not bad.
Yeah, which ain't bad for a convertible 911. So, so it feels like people are starting to pay attention. It does seem odd that they don't have, for as many cars as Bradley and Lane insinuated that they had, people that teed up. Where are the cars? There's like no cars there.
You gotta start teasing them ahead, and get people, and that brings people to the site. They should, they'll eventually probably start doing, weekly and daily things about cars that are going to close and cars that are coming, and get people, start asking questions and asking for records in advance. With
as many submissions as they had, that you'd think they should be able to have 2 or 3 cars a day. What's going on, guys? We'll have to ask Bradley about that Monday or something.
Yeah, sure. All right. So then yesterday, AP, on Thursday 18th, our star car with Mauricio from 3000 Posse, our star car was the Volkswagen thing, was it not?
It was.
Yeah.
Car of the day, yep.
Yeah, car of the day. So this Volkswagen thing, 1974, was on Hemmings. By all accounts, cosmetically, the car looked really nice, but upon closer inspection, I think you were less enthusiastic about this car. That for the money it looked like this car might to that it had some corrosion, had some challenges. The engine looked clean, the paint looked okay, but that underneath that this might not be a solid car, at least not something that, while we were looking at it at $12,000, would be worth the money to go in and try to fix all that stuff. If you're going to fix a car from underneath, by all accounts, you want to get a project car for like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, not $12,000 and up. So this one left us, kind of vacillating back and forth as to whether or not this was a decent value at where it was likely going to sell for. And we kind of just sort of, I don't know. This car left me empty inside. I don't know. It was sort of weird. I had said $18,000. I did not, when I put my bid, I did not notice how bad it was underneath. You kind of pointed that out while we were looking at it. You had said that you thought it would get to $14,000, but it wasn't worth that kind of money. And then Mauricio sort of split the difference between us. He said $15,000. So JP, while we were looking at the car yesterday, it was at $12,000. It did not get another bid before the close of auction. And here's some critique, because again, Hemmings asked us to help them, right? So Hemmings, this car closes at $12,000, but somebody asked the consignor on your platform where the reserve was at, and the consignor said $14,000, and the car did not meet its reserve. Then the car is offered by Hemmings at $15,400. What is up with that? I mean, by all accounts, you should be taking $14,000, but now it's listed on your premium classified for $15,400. Does the right hand and the left hand at Hemmings not know how to talk to each other? Because everybody, by all accounts, was CC'd on that email that went to John, my partner here. So something here doesn't make sense. I'm not great at math. I only went to a Christian high school. We had a great English department, I guess, but that doesn't add up. Tell me what's going on, man.
Hemmings, guys, we are busting on you. I've said some really harsh words, and I will continue that with this caveat that we want you to succeed. We want Hemmings. I think it's a good thing for car enthusiasts for there to be more platforms for people to find rare and interesting and unusual enthusiast cars like this. So, and Hemmings, having one of the biggest names in the auction industry, should be coming in and showing everyone how it's done. But it sure seems like there's, when we get CC'd an email with 14 people attached to it, it seems like there's, is this just an example of like corporate failure, just like 20 people with titles not knowing what the hell they're doing? Because, you guys need to have someone that comes in and says, all right, this is how we're going to do this, because you're letting the customers, not the people that are buying the cars, but you're letting the sellers of the cars come in and give you these atrocious, horrible assets to try to sell the car with. You cannot sell a romantic. This is arguably the most romantic car on the planet. Right. I said yesterday that this is the most fun car you could possibly drive, even though it's the worst car you could possibly drive. As a car, this has nothing going for it. It's not fast, doesn't handle well, doesn't have any power. Its utility is low. It's unsafe. It's all of the negative things that you would, on paper, this is the worst car that possibly is. But in reality, put that windshield down, take the top off, and you're going to have, it's the automotive equivalent of a puppy. If it doesn't make you smile, you're a bad person, right?
And you made a great take. You said everybody will stop you to talk to you about the car, which is great, which is, again, goes with your puppy analogy.
Yeah, so it's like, here it is, this car, when you look at the photos, and this is the only photo that I can get to work because you have to go in these different buckets. They make it very confusing for users to navigate the site. They're allowing the sellers to give them photos of a car in the middle of a sunny day in a mud pit or something. I mean, what in the hell? And then some of the photos, like, they didn't rasterize correctly, they didn't upload correctly, so they're narrow, they're stretched out, they don't really show what the car is, and they're awful, awful pictures. Make the sellers take decent pictures. Have a how-to guide, or have a salesperson that walks them through it, or tell them to hire a photographer. It's very easy to find photographers to come out and take pictures of your car. It's just, there's just no excuse for this.
JP, that is absolutely the hardest thing. You and I have talked time and time again with the analogy of having a bouncer, somebody that's going to refuse entry until they get it correct. A fancy nightclub that won't let you in because you're wearing tennis shoes or a baseball cap. It's the same thing here. If you have bad photos, yes, we accept your car, but we cannot accept this submission with these images. Please go back and follow these guidelines and email them, a PDF of your shot list and tell them how to take the photos and do it over. I agree with you, JP. This is terrible.
How do you expect to sell a car when the photos look like this, guys? Look at this. Right. They're all like squished and stretched out.
and then somebody has to be the warden of the website, the platform. And when the consignor answers a question and says that the reserve set at 14, but you have an agreement with the consignor to offer the car at 15, that doesn't work. You're turning off. You are disengaging anybody that was interested in that car. You have to fix these problems if you're going to succeed, because everybody can see it. I saw it, and I didn't even really study this thing. You know, I was like, oh, what's the reserve? Oh, 14. And what's it offered at? 15. I'm like, F you guys, like that don't work. I wouldn't buy that car.
Well, that brings up a good question. I was actually going to bring it up later because my personal car is up for auction today on PCAR Market. We're going to get to that. And what is your take when someone on the comments thread asks a direct question like, what is the reserve? That seems to me to be an uncouth question to ask. Yeah. And as the seller, do you answer it? What is your take on that?
Right. I don't think you have to. I just think it's, again, JP, a lot of what I bring to this is because I've worked in the car industry selling cars, and and there's this thing where you don't want to tell them what you own the car for. You know, it's sort of natural. Now, everybody says I'm too honest for the car business. Who cares? I personally, I don't think it matters if everybody knows what the reserve is, because you give them something to bid it up to, and then if two people want it, they're going to go right by the reserve anyways. So I don't really see the reason not to, but all of these places, the reserve is confidential, and I don't think the consignor should answer that question on the platform. Personally, I don't think it matters that it's in the discussion, but for everybody's sake, for most of the time, it should remain hidden. But
because that was a question that someone asked, and I just kind of glossed over. I'm like,
right?
What?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Well, who the heck does that? That's just such a lame thing to do.
And I think when you ask that question, you're also demonstrating that you have no experience in the world of buying cars, or you're being a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this Volkswagen thing, I definitely think would have brought more money on Bring a Trailer, even with these horrible assets, and certainly would have brought more money even on this platform had it better assets. So there it is, kids. Make sure you take decent pictures, because especially with enthusiast cars, you're selling romance. You're not selling nuts and bolts. It's a different animal. So, all right. What else did we talk about yesterday?
All right, JP, we jumped over to Cars and Bids to visit Doug DeMiro. I thought this Audi S6 was interesting because it employs the Lamborghini V10 motor. It had 135,000 miles on it, and it's just incredible to see that, an $80,000 luxury sedan, 10 years later is not worth anything. I said 12,000 bucks. You said 8,200. Mauricio said $10,000. So by all accounts, Mauricio was the closest. The car sold for $9,700, but technically you got the win. You beat me by just a couple $100 because the car came in between our two bids. But think about that, JP. For less than $10,000, you could have this $80,000 luxury car with a Lamborghini motor. I mean, it was like kind of exotic, performance luxury. But then these cars come out of warranty and nobody wants them. And Mauricio made a point. You've said this oftentimes. While this car is $10,000 today, the car doesn't know it's $10,000 today. It still has expensive maintenance, and there's no warranty available for a car that's 13 years old. So, and it's got 135,000 miles on it. So it's just amazing to see how these incredible vehicles become so soft in the secondary market. What a I don't know. And is that at 9,700? Is that a screaming deal, or is that just a money pit waiting to happen? I mean, that's
go over to our friends at German Motors here in Las Vegas and ask the mechanics, what's your favorite car? And they'll be like, oh, Audi for sure. I'm like, really? A mechanic like Audi for sure? It's like, yeah, they paid for my kids' college. These things are junk, and they keep German car mechanics in business.
Yeah, Daniel must love Audis. He's waving the Audi banner. By all means, bring your Audi down.
Yeah, go get yourself a used Audi. Good plan. 10 cylinders, awesome.
More spark plugs. All right. Anyways, JP, we jump over to Bring a Trailer, and we looked at 1991 BMW 850 CSI, but with just an automatic transmission, a 4-speed slushback. Absolutely. Is that the saddest thing you've ever seen? A slush box? Anyway, 35,000
like
Yeah, 35,000 miles on this car, so you would think it would bring big value, but it had a couple things going against it. One, none of us really were feeling this burgundy paint job over a gray leather interior, and then all of us, the three of us, including Mauricio, agreed that a manual transmission would unlock the collectability of this car, and that the automatic was definitely going to hold it back from being sort of a premium car in the secondary market. If this were a stick, JP, this would be an $80,000 and up car. I mean, we're talking 3 times the value that it probably sold for. So anyways, I said $26,000, which is interesting because you went over. You said 30. And then Mauricio did not like this car, which is interesting. I think, remember we had on was it Reese?
Reese from Hypertrash, yeah.
Yeah, Reese and Mauricio both agreed that the BMW 8 Series is one of the most disappointing and terrible cars that BMW's ever made. So Mauricio kind of pooped on this car. He said 23.5, which is really funny because I think it was at 23.5 when we were looking at it. Anyway, the car sold for $28,000, which ironically split between our bids. True on that car, which really we haven't drawn in a while. It's been a couple weeks actually.
I'm still shocked this car only brought that much. I mean, that burgundy SL500 that we talked about a few days ago that went for 45. This is a way cooler car than an SL500. I mean, even though it's an automatic, it's still an 850. These are really cool looking cars, and Mauricio just kept saying it's boring. It's boring. It's boring. It's like, well, I mean, it's not exciting. I'm with you there, but it's pretty tough to say it's boring. I mean, at least it still has that sporty, cool shark look. But yeah, I really am shocked that an SL500 is worth more than an 850 BMW.
Too funny.
The world is turned upside down.
Absolutely hilarious. All right, JP, then we ran over to go look at this 2008 Boxster RS60. Again, another low-mile car, 30-something thousand miles on it. These are numbered, which is really weird that Porsche decided to number these. And they number them to act like they're limited editions. There's still 2,000 of these models around. Basically, with the RS60, it's a homage to the RS Spider of 1960, and this car has some special features to go along that route. Besides the badging, it's got special front air dam and rockers. It comes with sports seats and a stick. They got a little more horsepower, like 5 more horsepower, and a tuned exhaust. And then really neat, they remove the cowling to cover the sun over your gauges to kind of give you that old dashboard with the gauges just attached to it. Neat little pieces, but is it really worth a premium? We're suggesting that this car was going to sell for twice as much as another Boxster S that isn't an RS60. And it was funny because you don't seem to, your thing is it doesn't make sense. Like, you could recreate this car for less money, but the bottom line is the Porsche market dictates that people will pay a premium for this nonsense. In any case, the three of us sort of overshot this one by just a little bit. I said 43. You conservatively bet under me and said 42. And then Mauricio went over and said 44. This car actually stalled out and sold at just $39,500 and failed to meet that $40,000 threshold the three of us unanimously thought this car was going to bring. So, JP, that was your third win of the day.
That is definitely a little bit. I felt like, okay, maybe there is a little sense in the world, but $39,000 is still $10,000 to $15,000 too much for this car. That is, you are just a dumb person if you think that the stupid little number plate means dick. Okay, you can get this same car and probably a nicer version for so much less money. And I mean, what are you thinking? Oh, whoopity-doo. It has a little plaque that says, I mean, it's like when you see the guy with a Mustang at like Cars and Coffee. And I'm not dissing Mustangs. I'm really not, at least not right now. But, you come up to a kid with a bright blue Mustang or bright green one. And you're like, that's a really cool car. Look at that color. He's like, yeah, it's super rare. They only made 4,000.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God!
Okay.
Too right. Too
awesome.
right.
This is not rare, and okay. Let's move on from this just silly car. It's a great car, but just not worth that money.
JP, our final car, probably the most controversial, at least until we do our star car of the day today. A 2004 Porsche C4S with a branded title. This car was a Lemon Law buyback. Now we all know that 2004s had bearings, and I painted a picture that in some case the original owner probably blew the bearing, had a repair bill at the Porsche dealership for like 20 grand to rebuild the motor, and said, no freaking way Porsche's paying for that. And Porsche probably said, absolutely not. You broke the motor of your car and we're not paying for that thing. That, you know, there's nothing wrong, because again, we know it's been chronic, you know, it's evident that Porsche never owned up to the IMS bearing, and everybody's had to go aftermarket to get them fixed. There was no official recall on these cars. So my guess is these people hired a lawyer and got the manufacturer to buy the car back. So now we've got a branded title on a low mile, 25,000 miles C4S. This car did take a trip to the UK. It was registered overseas for 1 year. I don't think that's a big deal, but the branded title certainly is. And so we all suspected that it would hold it back from the true value of this car being in the, say, $45,000 to $50,000 range. But by all accounts, when our car yesterday was close to $30,000, you and Mauricio both said that you thought that this car was already overpriced. And I went out on a limb and I said, this car is going to bring $35,000 because the branded title is just an argument. It has nothing to do with the fact that this car was like in an accident or anything like that. And this might be a great value for somebody. And you said, Michael, that might be right, but that's still too much money to pay for it because the branded title will hold it back from value in the future. So you said 33, Mauricio said 32. Well, this car sold for $40,500. And my take to you on the phone last night is that the branded title should be about a 30% detraction in value. So if this car brings 40 grand, then that's suggesting that this is a $60,000 car, which it's not. So somebody absolutely completely overpaid for this car, causing the three of us to completely scratch our head and then just marvel at the magic that is Bring a Trailer, because people seem to just run right through that glass door that said, hey, be careful. There's something going on here you're not supposed to go through. Take a look. Buyer beware. Branded title. This guy, I don't think this guy will ever get $40,000 again for this car. I just don't. So anyways, I hope he plans on holding on to it for a very long time, because that's way too much. It's crazy money.
And you know,
even for me,
with a car that's been lemon lawed, I mean, you worked for a Porsche dealership. I don't really understand what happens after a car has been lemon lawed, because I know in some states that if the car is brought, like in California, if you bring the car back to the dealership 3 times for the same problem, they lemon law it. So that could be something,
But it's not that easy. Like it's a lemon law. You have to get, the sales manager, the general manager, the owner, the regional rep, somebody from Porsche North America. You have to have an attorney. I mean, lemon lawing a car. Anybody that's ever had to lemon law a car, they will tell you. They're like, you're like, hey, you have to tell me that story, and they're like, well, I can't do it here. One day when we're over dinner, I'll tell you the story. That story will take over an hour to tell. It is a huge process,
right? But it happened, and that's the thing. And there are states that allow you to do it with you bringing the car back for the same problem 3 times. So then, lawyers get involved and it's a thing. But we don't know that the engine was replaced on this. We don't know. We don't. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah. Once the car is lemon lawed, what happens to it? Do you know?
Well, it becomes it's almost like a lease return, right? Somebody beaches it at their local dealer, and then the manufacturer picks it up. Then they will offer it probably in an in-house auction, like Porsche will auction some of their cars just to Porsche dealers, and the cars that don't go then will go to regional auctions and stuff like that. But that'll get offered to some dealership that wants to pick it up, address the problems, and then resell it as a lemon law, or they'll wholesale it at some other auction and just get rid of it and get it out of their system.
What Porsche dealership? I can't think of a Porsche dealership anywhere that would say, here's a branded title car. Can you?
Not really, but there's some out there that it becomes a used car. Oh yeah, listen, used car managers, and I love Malcolm Cheek. Our guy at Godden is a guy of absolute integrity, and that is completely uncommon amongst used car managers. Used car managers are usually the most sliding moral scales in any dealership anywhere in the world. Malcolm was great. Malcolm would never touch something like that because Godden couldn't, public face a car like that and split. But there's some guys that would take it and be like, oh yeah, I'll buy that car, recondition it, and sell it for retail, because all you're doing is talking somebody into it.
Wow. I mean, that just seems like, as a
Kinky.
if you have the shield on your dealership, there's no way that would fly. I could see them just saying, all right, Porsche owns it, and then putting it in some auction system, and then it hitting a regular auction, and then some used car dealership buying it. But it's not like any of them wouldn't know that it's a branded title car. And if this were at some regular used car lot down the street, they would be lucky to get 25 for it. I mean, I think you're 30%. You're 30% off of retail. I don't agree with that. I think branded titles are half. I mean, like 50% or more. They're just sales proof. You can't get rid of them.
Yeah, crazy. I'm guessing that the person who bought this car just says, I'll buy that car. That's exactly what I want, and I'm just going to own it for, the intention is to own it forever. And then he's in his mind, he saved 10 grand.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. All right. Well, that's the world is weird. That car doesn't make any sense. The buyer or the people that were bidding on this, I just think you need to have your head examined. Cool ass car, love them, but to get something like this with a branded title, that you're out of your mind. All right. So, but that certainly is interesting, and what we do here on Bid Nerds, can't even remember the name of my own show. What we do is we talk about and we nerd out about the most interesting cars of the day. And today we have some very interesting cars. One of them I own personally, but that's not the car that we're going to start with. Today, the first car that we're going to nerd out on, and before we nerd out on that, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button, hit the notifications. Make sure you hit that notifications button, because a lot of times our videos, we always go live in the morning at around the 9 o'clock hour, Monday through Friday. And then once we're done, about an hour later, sometimes the video, the little thumbnail doesn't show up on our channel for hours later. But if you have notifications, it'll show you that there's a new show up, and you'll be able to click on that and access our content all the time, because you need to access Bid Nerds all the time. So there it is. Make sure you hit that notifications button. Yeah, please subscribe, guys. We really appreciate you guys subscribing and watching the show. All right, so wow, this first car is called a consumer car. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't really know what it means. I don't understand the idea behind it. I'm not sure that it's explained really well here or in the video, but the quick story is simply this. The Peterson Auto Museum, which is a beautiful building for automobiles in LA, had a show, an exhibit called The Disruptors. And that exhibit ran from sometime in 2019 through March of 2020. My guess is it was probably cut short because of the pandemic and they had to close their doors. But as part of the Disruptors, I'm guessing this was cars that kind of went against the grain. Instead of making something that everybody wants, make something that the designer wants. A gentleman by the name of Joey Reuter created this car, the consumer car, so that it could be exhibited in the Disruptors show at the Peterson Auto Museum. This car was built on a 1993 Ford Fiesta GL chassis. It employs that drivetrain with a 5-speed manual. The motor on that is technically a Mazda-supplied B3, which is a 1.3-liter inline-4. It only makes about 63 horsepower, only has about 73 pound-foot of torque. But this car is just something like we've never seen. And I think what did the video is really great. What did Rochelle call it?
My wife called it the Daft Fiesta.
Daft Fiesta, which is great. So this guy with the helmet and the video that's accompanied, by all means, when the show's over, go and click the link to that and watch it. It's really interesting. JP, a car like that is guaranteed to do one thing, and that is split opinions. We call this a polarizing design. And as a person who loves cars because of racing and the dynamics of driving and the physics that go into mechanical grip and horsepower and traction, this car absolutely arrests my sensibilities, and I absolutely effing hate it. When I see a car like this, it makes me angry. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that to an automobile? And I'm very upset. And at the same time, I know exactly why you picked it, because it's so incredibly it's a disruptor. I mean, it absolutely is just the antithesis of what we think of naturally for an automobile. And by that rationale and by that end, I would say that Joey absolutely succeeded. And I could totally see that this car just gets you going and turns you on. I hate it. I hate it with every cell in my body, and I can't wait till we're done with it. So congratulations to Joey. You have absolutely split the Bid Nerds in half. I'm positive that JP is going to say nice things about this car. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you cannot be a car enthusiast and not like this car. You just don't like cars. If you, I mean, to say that, oh, the only reason why I love cars is because you race them and mechanical grip and blah, 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 blah. I mean, we just fawned over a lime green Volkswagen Thing, which does none of those things. We both agree that a Volkswagen Thing is none of what you just talked about.
Right.
Whereas this car, I would be willing to bet that this car probably handles better, drives better. Everything about this car is probably mechanically better than that Volkswagen Thing. And, you know, arguably the design, I just think this is the most crazy minimalist thing. And you see the comments and just absolute, I'm going to drop an S-bomb, dipshits that go on there and say, oh, my third grader could design something like this. Well, you say that because you don't know. Well, I need to say this to the camera. You're saying that because you don't know anything about design. Simple minimalist design is difficult. It's not easy. People think that, oh, I just draw a square. That's all this is. No. Nowadays, when it comes to design, everyone wants to put a million different radiuses in things. And there's all kinds of reasons to. This one, it's very difficult to find a way to make something that works and still has hardly any lines. I mean, it's kind of like the Cybertruck or whatever, which is about as polarizing as well. You know, this thing kind of looks like a guitar case that just hovers down the road. I love that you can't see the tires. It's so funny.
I know it is absolutely brilliant for what it is. And with interesting, JP, I've been to Burning Man a couple of times. And there are some incredible designs, what people do to rethink an automobile to just literally putt around in the desert with lights and a mode of transportation, and things in Burning Man are very inclusive. And this guy's got a couple of spare seats in here. That big video screen on the front with a light show, I could absolutely see somebody buying this and taking it to Burning Man. Now, the trouble is driving around on a desert floor in the dust and the heat up there will pretty much, you know, ruin this car and kind of wear it out. But whatever creative things you could do with that video screen to have this, I could totally see this just out on the playa putting around.
I don't think it's a video screen, Michael. I think it's just it's a one-way mirror with lights behind it. I don't think it's actually I mean,
even better. Yeah, that's great. It is absolutely fantastic. I hate it. But it's super cool.
How awesome would this be on the Strip? I mean, cruising down the Las Vegas Strip and just like charge people to take rides in it. How awesome would that be? You
would literally, this car would be photographed 1 million times a day in Las Vegas for sure.
You know, and that's the thing. That's another thing, Michael. It's like, I know you want to be done with this car as quickly as possible. Here's the deal. I'm bidding on this sucker today. So it might be you might like one day like take a ride in this thing. I might be able to convince you to love it. It's entirely possible. I doubt I'll be able to buy it because I think this thing's going to go for some weird money. It's already too much for just a straight up goofy toy. But look at this video. I just love this video.
But 10 grand is certainly not going to recoup whatever his investment is. This car, I'm sure that this car has got 20,000 hours in it or something crazy. It's just been it clearly this is it is like a garage project, but the fit and finish looks far superior to that. It really looks like a concept car, like a manufacturer's concept car or a design house's concept car, not an artist or a disruptor. And then so in that sense, it is brilliant. I hate it. It really bothers me. It rubs me the wrong way. And one day at JP, I may drive it and it'll all change. But there you go.
There's the thing about the Volkswagen Thing, and this car, when you don't have a windshield like that, when you're in a little box like this, it makes the world feel like an amusement park ride.
Yeah.
So driving something like this around just feels like you're at Disneyland, and you're just going down to the Walmart, and it's like, oh, I'm at the Disneyland display, or I'm at the Walmart ride, or I'm at the JCPenney ride. I mean, it's just like whatever. It makes everything so much more fun, even if it doesn't handle for shit and isn't very fast. I don't know. It does look pretty fun to drive though. Watching it roll down the road looks like it scoots, but again, I don't know. Who knows? The biggest problem to me is the fact that this car is in Michigan, and part of the fun of buying a car from out of town is going and getting it, driving it home. And you ain't driving this thing back to Vegas from Michigan right now with no roof or heat or gauges or anything. Michael Deeb, what is this goofball little square box thing gonna go for?
Listen, JP, I was thinking when we first teed it up, I was thinking maybe $12,000, but it's already at 10 on 27 bids. And I agree with you, JP. The more I look at it, the more you appreciate all the work that went into it. And I do think somebody will spend stupid money on it. Will it break $20,000? It could. I actually think that this car should have been sold on Bring a Trailer, and I think he would have got $25,000 for it. But on Doug DeMuro's site, I think it's going to be held back. Stupid money, crazy stupid money on Doug DeMuro's site would be $18,000. I don't know, man. I don't feel good about that. I'm going to say 15 grand. I'll let you take the over. I know you're going to. I was
going to take 15. I don't know if I am. I mean, as much as I like it, DeMuro doesn't bring late stage auction, late stage rallies.
Yeah. Although this has no comps. This is a peerless automobile. Peerless. There's no comps for this.
Think about this though. It's like, okay, for a goofball toy for 15 grand, you could get a Razor.
Right.
It's not very interesting. You could get, some off-road side-by-side thing. You could get a used Jeep or something like that. I mean, if you want something, I mean, like if you have a place in the Arts District in LA or Oakland or here in Las Vegas, this would be just the raddest car to drive around town in.
Absolutely.
I mean, and because it's not really a street goer, I mean, we had a 356, which was fun to drive around. And that was the only thing that was fun to do was drive around the neighborhood. And if you live in an Arts District anywhere, you would be like instantly the coolest person in the Arts District wherever you are rolling up to the coffee shop in this thing. And that's why I wanted. I would just want to drive from down to the 18B and roll around everyone and go, what the I mean, that's just fun, right?
Can you imagine me buying this car and putting it on Turo in Las Vegas?
Oh my gosh,
you could
right?
Rent that thing?
Yeah. Rent the consumer car. All right, yeah, you say 15. That sucks because that was my bid. I'm going to go right up below you. I'm going to bet the under and go 14.5. I'm right there up your rear because I think I think it's going to be 15 grand, give or take $1,000. So yeah, but I sure want it, and I'm bummed that it's probably going to be out of. I don't know. When does this auction actually end?
JP, I'll read that to you right now. It's got 30 minutes, so it's at 10,000.
Oh no!
It's got less than 30 minutes. Yeah.
Man, we got to hurry up on this show because one, I want to bid.
Now.
I wish I would have had. Because I kind of wanted my Porsche to hit the auction before this car, so I know if I had enough money to buy this. If my car went crazy, I would just be like, all right, cool, I'll go buy this. I just got a consumer car for nothing. Whatever that means. All right, let's hurry up on the show so I can get to bidding.
All right, well, let's go. Let's save your car for last. So let's go over to RAD For Sale and look at this car. JP, you'll probably know more about this than I do, but I remember these. They were in the Bay Area a lot. 1981 Subaru Brat GL. This had just a flat four-cylinder, all-wheel drive, four-speed manual with a transfer case. This car is offered out of Hayward, California with just 109,000 miles. But cosmetically, this car has been brilliantly preserved. What you're looking at is a two-seat pickup that is the size of like a Honda Accord from the 70s. And they had these two, what do you call those? Outboard
jump seats.
Two outboard jump seats, rear facing with oh shit handles. Do they have seat belts back there?
No, there's no seat belts back there. Are you kidding?
Of course not.
Come on,
we gave you a push bar and some graphics. I don't see how a manufacturer can make a car like this again. It would never fly in any principality anywhere in the United States.
Oh my God, it's got a canopy top too. Holy free holies! This is a holy grail.
This is just a wild car. So with 4 hours to go out of Hayward, California, that's just across the Bay Bridge here, JP. It was 20 minutes away to get to Hayward. His car is sitting at $6,700. Now, I will say we've been watching this car all week. It's been at $6,700 for several days now. It hasn't gotten any action, but I would think that this car is going to come really close to $10,000 because where on earth in the last 10 years, JP, have you seen one this clean for sale in the U.S.? I would say no. There's 15 bids, so there's some action, but it hasn't gotten a bid in a few days. It's on an original California blue plate, which is period correct to 1981. This is a time capsule if ever there was one. And absolutely, this would be, if we got to vote, if I was at Radwood and I saw this car, this is something I would absolutely consider voting on because they're just so unusual. You couldn't make this car today and legally sell it through a dealership. It just, all these rules that we put in place make this car obsolete and a relic to time. And it's just cool to see one in this condition. JP, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's only one thing that makes it illegal, and that's the seats in the back. Because Subaru did come out with something like this just 10 years ago. They came out with their Subaru. We talked about one where they had a little pickup thing. Yeah, but they didn't put the seats in the back. You know, this is the ultimate hillbilly car. Growing up where I grew up, these were all over the place. People loved them because they were cheap on gas. They were small. They were all-wheel drive, so you could take the logging roads. You could throw your children in the back. I grew up, my parents were too cheap to get something cool like this. We just had pickup trucks that didn't even have seats in the back. These have seats with like handlebars that you can hold on to. When we hit a bump, you might fly out of the back of the pickup truck. This thing, you could hold on to the Brat and just like hang on. I mean, and it was aptly named because, I mean, there should have been an arrow that pointing to the bed because that's where the Brats go. That's specifically what that's for. So much fun to drive. These things are just a hoot.
Grab a photo of the interior. Can you grab a photo of the interior? These things have beautiful plaid seats. Like these are Porsche. Like every guy that loves air-cooled 911s will look at these Subaru seats and be like, wow.
I don't quite get cool. Where you say this car is clean. I mean, it's a running, driving car, but it looks exactly like the ones when I was growing up, just as beat up and dented up and used, which I appreciate. But at least it's a running, driving car. Yeah, that interior is just so much fun.
Those are cool. I think that's really cool. I just look. The graphics are still on there. The emblems are still on there.
Yeah.
Maybe clean isn't the right word, but complete. All of the pieces that Subaru gave you are still on this car. And I would say that, a lot of cars, a pickup truck from this area, you get a replacement fender, the bumpers fall off, you get different wheels. Everybody loses their graphics to sun fade or
where's it going to land? Where's it going to land? What's this thing going to sell for? Jeez Louise.
All right, rambling on, Deeb. Shut the... All right, so
I got a consumer car to buy. Come on, what are you doing?
I'm going to say $7,500, JP, but I think this car is worth $8,000 to $10,000. I just don't know if it's going to find the audience here.
Where is it at right now? It's at 69, you said?
6,700.
67, and you said 75. That's a good bet. I'm gonna say that some people are coming back to RAD for sale this week, and maybe it finds 7,900. Maybe it breaks 8, but I'll go 7. I'm gonna bet the over a little bit and say that there's gonna late stage rally because this is a fun car and it's in the right place. I mean, this is the perfect beach car. There's no better place to have this car. Put a surfboard on there and throw your children in the back. Good to go.
All right, JP, let's jump over to Bring a Trailer and have a very, very, very brief conversation about celebrity endorsements. We are looking at 2020 Nissan 370Z with the 50th anniversary livery that they made because the Z is, there's a new Z coming next year. And so to send off the old Z, one of the models that you can get, it's not as high performance as the Nismo, so it's not the ultimate driver's car, but it's got this throwback design with the 2 stripes on the door and the red over the top of the car. Very cool. If you like the boy racer look, you probably love this car, and I think the white might even be a pearl, which is really nice. But anyway, that's about it. But Brock Yates, who lives in Pete Brock, who lives in Las Vegas, is a big Nissan guy, and this is his personal car. So the question begs, does one with his signature on it, apparently there's 3 official BRE signature series of these cars, which means it's just an extra badging on it. Does that deserve a premium because it was Pete Brock's personal signature edition of the anniversary edition of the 370Z, which is being replaced anyway? So why would you, with 166 miles out of Henderson, Nevada, what's the premium for his car?
Well, he's not just some guy. I mean, he's the guy that designed the 240Z. So, I mean, his heritage connected to this car makes some sense. I think this car is as dumb as that Boxster that we talked about yesterday, the RS60, because it has no additional, performance mods. It's all cosmetic. But I do think there's probably something to the fact that, the godfather of the Z car, really, that this is his car and that he put his personal touch. I actually think, don't you think it would be more interesting if it had more miles on it? It's like, it was his car, but he didn't drive it.
Right.
I mean,
right.
if this was a car that he drove every day, you'd be like, yeah, I'm living in his footsteps. But no, this is a car that he had in his garage. Who cares?
JP, I guarantee you, they gifted him the car, and he took it. He took it to 2 car shows.
Yeah.
It was delivered. He took it to a couple car shows, and now he's selling it. And his spiff for endorsing the car and probably doing some publicity work is whatever he gets out of this thing.
Yeah, and he probably didn't even drive it to the car shows. He probably put it in his Aero Vault.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He is the godfather of the Aerovault, which are really cool, by the way. Yeah. I had a guy come to Las Vegas and bought an Aerovault direct from Pete Brock, and then he came by. Max from Utah sent him to me, and I sold him a classic 911 Turbo, and then he put it in the Aerovault and drove it back to Idaho, which was great. So I love the Aerovault because they allow customers to buy my cars. So here you go. So anyways, JP, the car's sitting at $35,000. It's got about an hour and a half to go. Again, out of Anderson, Nevada, with just 166 miles. This car, he hasn't even put gas in this car, JP. Like, he hasn't even filled up the tank. It is not broken in yet. It's on 11 bids, an hour and a half to go. I don't mean, what is it worth? 40 grand? I'm going to say 40 grand. And that's honestly, that is probably close to MSRP for the car. So
yeah, I mean, what's the book value on this thing?
I don't think somebody's going to pay 50 grand for Pete's car. And that was my whole point with my rambling at the beginning of this. So 40 grand is all the money for the car. There you go.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know. I mean, what CarMax give you for it? I'll go 39. I don't know.
CarMax. So, listen, this car's already been registered in his name, so you're the second owner. CarMax is only going to give you $32,000 for this car,
right? Yeah.
So, anyway,
right.
so you're going to say 39 was your bid, JP?
Yeah. Shrugging my shoulders, maybe. I mean, whatever.
All right, JP.
Yeah.
I picked this next car just for you. Now, the holdback on this is that it's in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. How close is that to Seattle? Is that like just across the border or way up there?
I mean, Seattle, the border is 2.5 hours away, and then another hour up to get to. So you're looking at about 3 hours, depending on how hard it is to get across the border.
All right, so here's the problem, JP. This car is not 25 years old. It's not easy to bring it into the United States, and it is a Canadian car. It's in kilometers.
What car are we talking about?
Sorry, it's a 2006 Porsche Cayenne. Modified. This car is completely Polnik approved. This is a bit nerd special. Look at this thing in Porsche Motorsport livery with some a slight lift kit. It's got 2 different light bars, one on the luggage rack that holds a spare tire, one on the front bumper with the skid plates. In addition to the lift kit, this has complete off-road tires to complete the look, and they even painted the wheels white to complement the livery. What we like about this car is that it's a base model and it'll go anywhere, and it's got a full black interior. What we don't like about this car, and where this guy missed the boat, is he should have found one with a stick shift, right, JP?
Good luck with that, though.
Yeah. So 6-speed automatic. The other thing that we don't like about it is that it's sitting in Canada, and it would be really difficult to bring in. Now, the consignor has gone out of his way to make this as tantalizing as possible. This is a no reserve auction. So with about 2 hours to go, this modified 2006 Porsche Cayenne with about 86,000 miles, 139,000 kilometers is about 86,000 miles on the odometer, is sitting at just $17,300, which, as it sits right there, is all the money for one of these if it was probably in the United States. But that by Canada, the fact that it's in Canada, this guy's looking pretty good for getting a pretty decent return on this investment. So JP, what do you think? What am I thinking here?
I mean, the fact that it's a Mark 1, that's really the biggest hit against it. I mean, it's got so you're still dealing with. Did they mention if the cooling lines have been done and the drive shafts? Probably. I mean,
you talk, I'll look.
The good thing about these is, I mean, the 3.2, the little 6-cylinder base is crazy reliable, and this is the right platform to actually do this on. And unlike the one that I had that was a manual, they really did a lot of things right. They lifted it properly. They put actual skid plates on there and stuff like that. So this thing is really, really cool. I understand that these guys plan on making a bunch more of them. But we talk about design sensibilities, and we were talking about the consumer car earlier and what makes you angry, Michael Deeb. I mean, when I look at this, I am seething. I am so pissed off. I'm madder than a hornet because my design sensibility OCD is just melting me down right now. Number one, the 955 is the wrong damn font. That is not the correct font. It's taking up too much space in the red space. Because, you know, if anybody's watched the show, I had one that was very similar to this. We didn't go with the full-blown livery. We just went with the decal. We made sure that we used the right paint or the right font. These stripes on here that are from the GT3 Cup of that era, we were considering doing that on mine. But one thing that's just, it's making me so angry is you look at this gray stripe as it leans down, all right? So you've got a corner right here, right? That corner should be lining up with this vertical line, but no, it's off center, so it just looks like they tacked this on after the fact. And this point and this point, right? It's a downward slope. This gray should be, all these stripes should be horizontal with all these lines here. And it just looks cheap and lame and like they're just like, we'll just put stripes on it. We're going to put the stripes on it. Yeah, you know, that consumer car made you angry. This is making me mad. Look at the space between the top of the Porsche and the top of the Red. It's different from the down here. I mean, you guys, it's like, come on, man. You're going through all this trouble. That was a lot of work. It would not have taken that much more work to get it right. But the fact is they didn't know what's right because they're idiots. And man, I hate this thing so hard. I hate it so hard because it's so close to being so awesome. Where's it going to land at 17.5 with how long to go?
17.3 with 2 hours to go, but stuck in Canada. Do not forget that, people. This is not going to be easy to bring in. So I don't think this car is going to go much further. I think that's already all the money for a car that's sitting in Canada. I say $18,000 and there's nothing left in it, really.
Yeah, and this thing's got dents and dings and scratches and all that stuff. But these are hot right now. What was your number? I'm sorry.
18 grand. I don't think it's going to go any further.
I'm going
It's going to cost you $8 grand to get it in. You could send one to Binders and we would make one for you.
Do you think it would be $8,000 to get it over? I don't know. That's crazy. You're probably right. Yeah, I'm gonna bet the over just because I think someone will figure out a way. I think I'm gonna say $1,000 more than you. And 19. Look, the lift kit and the light kit and all that kind of stuff. That really is difficult stuff to do, and it's doing it right. I would get this thing and peel off the livery and then redo the livery correctly because I think it's just that cool. Gosh, I wish it was a second gen, or not a second gen, but a dot 2. All right, let's move on. This is a neat truck. Good luck to the seller. Good luck getting it across the border. If he does well on this, you know you're going to see a ton more of these because they're gearing up to do more of them. All right.
Absolutely. All right, JP, just a quick time check. 12 and a half minutes on the consumer car. It's still sitting at $10,000 on 27 bids. Maybe you, Nate, make a bid live on the air. Would be
that
really
could
cool.
happen. I got to sign in.
Yeah. All right. So is that it? Do we have anything else to cover?
Right. There's one other car. Wait, what? Well, you forgot about my car. What's up? You forgot my car. What's going on?
Dude, on P-Car Market, somebody named Producer John is offering us this 2003 Porsche 996 Carrera with an aero kit that has been fully devoted to become a GT3 tribute. JP, I will let you talk about this car, but the thing with the aero kit, it's beyond the aero kit. It's the wheels and the gauges. When you first sent me a picture of this car and I saw the gauges said GT3 on them, I understood the attention to detail that this car has been treated to. What I love about your car is it's got the aero kit and the wheels. It's also this color, the seal gray, was not a popular color for 04 GT3s. And so to see what is essentially a GT3 in this color also is really cool. We should also worth mentioning that there's suspension that goes along with this and that this car handles really well. But JP, take it away. This is your car, man. Where we go? What are we doing? 83,000 miles?
We've talked about the fact that this is a GT3 clone, and yes, it was made to look like a GT3. You can see the rear seat deletes. Like you said, the gauge has even been done. This car did start as an XAA option from the factory aero car, so it had the lip and it had the side skirts and the wing. But someone went nuts and got the gear shift lever and changed out the gauges and got rid of those rear seats and the wheels and all that stuff. They spent some money. They even did I like pointing out to people that don't realize that they had the center console delete. I mean, the attention to details here is really, really, they went nuts.
Neat.
And one thing that you got to be careful though, when you drive this car, it has an 8,000 RPM tachometer. This is not a GT3 engine, and the normal M96 engine does not go to 8,000 RPMs. It's like, what is it, 69 or something like that. So buyer beware. Don't try to rip this thing out to 8,000 RPMs when you get into it. Let me tell you, the car will want to. When you get in this car, it just feels so good. We went out and did a parade lap with the PCA last weekend, and we went out to Spring Mountain and did some driving on the actual track. Not track driving. It was a parade lap. So it was like we couldn't go faster than 60 miles an hour. But even then, I let my buddy Jason Alter, who was actually out there for a DE day, and he got out of his GTS and got into my car and was driving around going, oh my God, this thing is so good. What the hell's the matter with you? Why would you sell this thing?
Absolutely.
And it just really is that awesome. It's got brand new tires. Well, no, it doesn't have brand new tires, but the tires are, like 80, 90%. It's got H&R springs. It's had the IMS done, of course. It's had the expansion tank. I mean, all the things that you normally want to take care of on a 996 have been taken care of. This car is ready to go. Get in it and drive it anywhere. I'm going to slide over to this. Go ahead.
In the 4 years that you and I have been friends, you've probably had over 2,000 cars, and your 993 cab, this GT3 Replica coupe, and your Cayenne GTS manual, those are my three favorite. Like, like if you had to have just cars for a long period of time, those would be like my three favorite cars that you've owned. Now, you've probably liked other cars for other reasons, but those, what a collection of cars. I think you're going to be very sad after you sell this car.
Well, I think you're right too, and it's like we're waiting to see where it's going to land, because we've got 3 hours to go. I've got some pretty decent bids a few days ago, but it seems to have just been kind of sitting here since then. So I'm hoping for a late stage.
I think it's going to do well.
It does have 83,000 miles on it, but I mean, again, all the maintenance is up to date. Look, you want to buy this car over one with 50,000 miles, because a car with 50,000 miles is going to need all that stuff done in the next couple. Right. This one's good to go. Oh, it does have a new clutch too, and you can see driving it. It just, golly, every time I watch this particular video, I'm going, what the hell is wrong with me? Rochelle, my wife, was in the passenger seat filming this. So, was holding back a little bit. And she's just like, she's like, why are you selling this car? This car's awesome.
This car is
She thinks I'm an idiot for selling it, but she also does approve the idea of getting a real GT3. So this one is going away.
Yeah, I agree with
man,
her.
Look at that.
And if you do get a real GT3, please don't sell it. That Mescar engine is everything. And obviously makes the big difference. But that car, JP, that car is a looker, and it still works, again, because of the suspension. Yeah. That car really, really does work. So there you go.
Even on its best day, even if I get, even if it does really well in the auction, it's still going to be less than half of what a GT3 would be. And I don't think it's half the car of a GT3. I think it's not a GT3. It's not as good a car as a GT3, but holy cow, it's as close as you can get to it for, less money. I mean, you're going to have to spend at least twice as much to get one-third extra car.
If you could find a 83,000 mile GT3, it's going to bring twice as much money, because it'll be $70,000.
For sure. Yeah. And I'll even throw in that radar detector. I don't know if I should say that, because Jason gave that to me, because we always go driving and I bring my cars and I always forget my radar detector, my Valentine, and one of the other cars. He's like, here, just take this old one so you can lead one of these times and you get the tickets. We never get tickets because we never drive fast. Didn't hear it here.
Hey, quick shout out to our buddy Paul at Auto Kennel. When we had him on the show a couple weeks ago, JP, he said that he thought that this was the absolute sleeper of the Porsche lineup, that he says it never, ever gets credit for what it is. He said that the original 996 GT3 was one of his absolute favorite driving Porsche models ever. And I thought that was a really great take from a guy who sold even more Porsches than you and me combined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's a great take. And so we'll see what happens. But JP, I think, listen, we've seen these cars bring decent value, and we're talking an Aero Kit .2, all the maintenance up, and then full GT3 replica on P-Car Market, offered out of Las Vegas, which is easy to attain. My bid is $40,000. I think your car is going to have a crazy late story, and you're going to be very happy about it.
I am buying that consumer car based on Deeb's advice. And what do we say on this show? Never take our advice. Don't do
Never
that.
take
That's
our
a
advice.
bad
Yeah.
idea.
5 minutes on the consumer car, JP.
5 minutes on the consumer car. All right. Well, there it is. You say 40,000. I'm going to say 35. I hope it gets to 35. Right. There it is.
35 will make you and Patootie happy, right?
Patootie would be pretty happy with that because then we can go ahead and go get a GT3. All right, well, there it is, guys. You know, this is our daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on Cars and Bids, Bring a Trailer, and all the auto enthusiast auction sites. Let's go back and see where consumer car is.
Under 5 minutes.
It's still 10,000?
Yeah, 10,000 just sitting there, JP.
What are we going to do? Do I buy this thing? Hey, Rochelle.
Well, yeah.
The consumer car, Daft, what was it? Daft Fiesta. Is sitting at $10,000. To get it here, though, we're going to have to... Daft Festiva, sorry. Daft Festiva is sitting at $10,000. To get it here to Las Vegas, though, would cost me at least, what, $1,000 to transport it here?
Probably, if not a little more, yeah.
So,
and closed.
Man, do I bid on this thing? What does the audience think? Is anybody watching this live on Facebook? Rochelle, can you go look at Facebook and see if anyone's saying whether or not we should buy this stupid thing?
Yeah, well, I wonder what Chachi thinks.
What does Chachi think? Chachi, what do you think? Should we buy this car?
And before I check, I would just buy guess is Chachi be like, do it.
Of course, Chachi's saying do it.
Get it. He's like, just get it. Let's do it. We'll make
all right, guys. There it is. All right, so 3 minutes 45 seconds. Somebody tell me on the socials what does it have a reserve? Is it a reserve? Yeah. Is 10,000 even going to meet the reserve? I'm getting myself all psyched up, and I might not even be able to buy it because
you might bid and be the high bidder, and it still might not sell. So
how much would someone rent this car on Turo? You know, because that's the big question, right? If I could get $200 a day on Turo with this thing, which I think I could. I mean, I was getting more than that for the 356 replica. Someone would pay $150 to drive this around every day.
$250, yeah.
$250, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on. And people are coming back to Vegas, man. It's getting busy down there. So I know all the exotic car rental places are going crazy.
I think the threshold where you would lose Turo renters would be at $300 because $300 might get you into a sports car, but $250 to drive this thing around, I bet you it would go like it'd be out every day.
Yeah. All right, so we're down to 2 minutes 45 seconds, guys. I'm gonna wait to the last second and see if anybody jumps in here, but I'll bite on the 10-1 just to be ready. Minimum bid
30 seconds.
What? 30 seconds?
Right?
It's 2 minutes, right?
I think so.
So 2 minutes 30 seconds is what I'm seeing. Is this exciting, everyone? We're doing a live. I might buy this stupid car.
That'd be great.
I don't have the money for it or anything, but I might buy it anyway.
Oh, you'll have the money in 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go march down to Bank of America and go, can I get a loan? Okay, what's the car, sir? It's a consumer car. Ah, shucks, somebody just went to 10-2.
Yeah.
Dang it.
All right, JP, get off your wallet, man.
Somebody 10-5. I think we are out of my range already because I'm not going more than 11 on this thing.
Well, then bet 11 and see if you could do the knockout punch. You might hit the reserve.
I'm going to wait to the last second.
Just
because if
tone.
It makes a G-Wagon look curvy, someone says. All right.
it looks the spawn of a G-Wagon.
Right.
7,500, 7,900. I'm entering our bids.
All right. Okay, guys, we're just stretching out the week here, and we are coming back in an hour, maybe an hour and a half to watch the end of my auction on my GT3 wannabe car.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That'll be interesting. Hopefully, it doesn't stall out like. Remember, we did that on my car with the Cayenne, and it did really well, but it really didn't get any late bids.
Right, you got the money you were hoping for, but not at the end. It came in early. You know, people would make sure.
All right, this thing's 10,750, so that means I got to go 10,850. Oh, it's 11. I'm out. All right, guys, that's it. I'm not doing it. I'm not spending $11,000 on this thing. Has the reserve been met yet?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Well, let's just see. What the heck? It's the end of the week. Let's see where this thing goes. Where did you bid on it, and where did I bid on it?
Good question, JP. I was just about to enter that. So I said 15. You said 14.5.
12.5. All right. Boy, this thing just keeps going. Still we haven't hit reserve. We don't know. 12,500, 13,000. All right, here it comes. Here comes the money. This is not normal for Cars and Bids. We usually don't see late runs. We did when I sold.
Ooh, it's up to 13.
Yeah, exactly. Rochelle's sad. There's not going to be any daft Fiesta, or Festiva punks in our future.
I was waiting for you guys to get shiny matching helmets and just be like rocking down.
Hell
the street.
Yeah!
Oh,
I mean, just put a stereo on it because it doesn't even have a stereo, but you do have to play Daft Punk, and that's it all the time.
Absolutely.
Daft car rental. Do we go to 14, Rochelle? Do you think we should buy this thing for 15 grand? 14.5.
So now you're sitting on a Yahtzee, just so you know.
I'm sitting on a Yahtzee. Nobody else bid. If I buy it, I screw myself out of a Yahtzee. So there it is. 15 grand. All right. Now that you get a Yahtzee, so somebody's got to beat you.
I'm sitting on a Yahtzee. All right.
Rochelle, so my wife says the Festiva Punk or Daft Festiva will go for 22.
Ooh, we gotta have
she
Rochelle
thinks
on
this
as a
thing.
third
She
nerd.
might be a better nerd than the both of us put together. We'll see what
gets
happens.
a Yahtzee. She is our new third nerd for sure.
All right, what does Patootie think?
Oh my goodness!
The producer, look, Tootie. There's the camera. Look over there. There you go.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. Deeb's got a Yahtzee.
Come on,
22.
somebody. I almost have to buy it just so you
Deeb's
don't get a
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. Come on, somebody on
Deeb's
Cars
got
and
a
Bids.
Yahtzee.
He's getting all funny. 15-1, 15-1, 15-1. Come on.
Deeb's got a Yahtzee. 10, 9, 8,
Look
7,
at that.
6.
Oh!
Oh my
He was
God!
so close
Foiled.
to getting a Yahtzee at the last 16-2. Holy cow! This thing's taking off. Apparently, the Festiva Punk has a rocket engine in it. It is soaring for the moon. This thing is going stratospheric.
Amazing.
This is what I want to see when we get to my car a little later. Is these late stage rallies freaking us out?
What you want to see, JP, is a car that goes double in value in the final closing stage.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I got this kind of percentage increase in the last, I'd be like, yeah, all right, we're good.
Yeah, 70% more. That'd be amazing. Look at that.
Look at this thing, 17 grand. Half.
I
Rochelle
mean,
might be right. Rochelle, you're gonna have to make a column for her.
It also, like, if the guy who's selling it is in fact the guy who built it, it wouldn't surprise me if he's trying to get 25 grand out of it. You know, the reserve might be high. I don't know.
What car can you get that's been in the Peterson for under $20,000?
Right, seriously, yeah.
Assuming this car sells for under $20,000 because it's still got legs, man. It just keeps going. Tell us in the comments what you guys think it's going to sell for. It's just, man, you got the win on this. I was totally wrong. I just, Cars and Bids never gets late stage rallies. So this car,
my original bid was 18 grand, and I chased it while I was on the air with you. I was
that's true.
There's no action. I'm like, I'm getting nervous, but this is
the seller of this car probably did his own marketing and pushed this thing out. This thing has probably got a lot of views because of his connection to Peterson and all the other networks that he's dialed into. It wasn't just Cars and Bids that put this thing out there. I'm still with you though. If this car brings whatever it brings, put 30% on top of it left on the table that it would have brought on BAT. This car on BAT, come on.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's really interesting. 15 seconds, JP. This could be it.
Did Doug DeMuro do a video? He didn't do a video on this. I mean, this seems like a car that's like the quirkiest car of all time. 18-1. Man, this is gonna be our longest show ever. We might just roll straight into my auction.
You and I are gonna be buying lunch for Rochelle if she gets this one right.
Man, 18,888. That's a weird bid.
So what it looks like is I'm guessing that there's two people fighting over this car now. So one of them's in Vegas. One of the bidder is R Vegas. Look at that.
Oh, really?
It'd be great if that car shows up at your car show at the Cars Food Cafe. Yeah. There are three people fighting over the car. But one of them has the handle. Vegas is in the handle. It's at 21. Look at that. Soupy sales.
21 grand. Rochelle, you're very close to a Yahtzee.
Yeah. And this car has effectively now more than doubled at the close of auction, which is very interesting. That people were wanting this car but waiting.
All right.
Look at that.
Here we go. 37 seconds. Is
$21,000.
going to make 22. We'll see. I'm shocked that it's broken 20. That's just unbelievable.
My big question now is what the reserve is set at, and who's selling it. Is Joey selling the car, or did somebody else acquire it from him and they're selling it?
I'm starting to think that the reserve has got to be like 25 because this thing is just the amount of work. What was making this car? What do you get out of that? There it is, 22 right now. Rochelle's so got there's no more bids. You get a Yahtzee. Yep. How much did it cost to build this thing? And $22,500. This is crazy. And what was the point of? I mean, it's one thing to make art and then you put it in a gallery, and then usually in a gallery, that's where it sells for crazy money because it's art. To build this thing, get some notoriety. Do you get other gigs out of it? Does it get you design gigs? Is this a loss leader just as a promotional device, or do you think you're actually going to make money? Because that guy in that studio and all the people that he employs, there's no way that $25,000 is going to pay for the cost of whatever this car had.
It's at 25. Somebody just threw a haymaker. That's $2,500 over the previous bid. So
yeah,
Peter M is trying to knock out Soupy Sales with the $2,500 overbid to really set the bar high.
Is our Vegas guy still in the mix?
Nope. But Soupy Sales just went to 26. So it's just 26. These two. Yeah, just these two people. Wow, they really like this thing.
Is this thing going to break $30,000?
It looks like it might. It's
man,
hilarious.
We should have had beers out here, man. Okay, 28,000. I mean, we're talking about multiple thousands. For a minute there, we were doing the typical cars and bids thing where it's $100 nickel and dime BS.
Yeah.
That's what you see on cars and bids all the time. Now all of a sudden we've got some players. $29,000. This thing's gonna break 30. Now it's like we're sitting here going, is it gonna get 40? This is this car is not replaceable. I mean, this is genuinely a piece of art. Is this like the new Shepherd Ferry, a square car? I mean, you've got all that crazy art on your walls. There it is. We've broken $30,000. Who'd have thought that, man? This is I mean, here it was like 10 minutes ago. I was thinking I was going to be able to buy this thing for $10,000. I mean, how absurdly wrong were the both of us? That's just nuts. 31.
But JP, why doesn't Cars and Bids tell you if the reserve has been met or not? Like,
I don't know if any of the auctions do that, except Stratus used to.
Stratus.
But Stratus is dead, so they're
at the moment.
At the moment, yeah. $32,000. Rochelle, you were $10,000 off.
Yeah.
But it's still going. Yeah. It's 13,333. You're not over there bidding, are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife is spending $35,000 on this car. I'm like,
yeah.
And Vegas Rochelle. Who's that? Whatever. I was just like, sorry, Patootie. Yeah. No more cute bows for you. We can't afford them.
Yeah. $45,000 by Patootie's favorite. And you're like, who's Patootie's favorite?
What is going on? The Poochie car. This car would be so awesome to have Patootie rolling around this thing. A little white dog in a goofy black square car.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
These are some weird bids. These 13, 3, 30. Like anytime you add weird numbers at the end.
Miro always gets that though. They always get these funny numbered bids.
It's
more
true.
than all the other auction sites. Here we go. This is it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
35. Wow. Oh. Yeah. When I sold one of my Cayennes on Cars and Bids, it went for like 17,957. People get cute with the whole 957 is the number of the car, so that's what I'm going to do. And right now on P-Car Market, I think my GT is sitting at 27,996 or something. It's like
it's 969. I'm like, why?
Oh, they typoed it. They tried to be cute and they got it wrong. What is 969, dude?
It's
or 69, bro.
969. Let's do the math. So you're an hour and 36 minutes away, and it is 10:38. So 6 minutes will take you to basically 45. So 11:45.
It's going to be noon here, noon our time on the West Coast. So what is that? A couple hours later on the East Coast. This will be one of the last. Mine will be one of the last auctions of the day. So if you're getting ready to get out of work on the East Coast, you can bid on my GT car and still catch a flight to Vegas tonight.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, $36,000 for the consumer car. Still going, still counting. Another 30 seconds to go on this auction. Will it get another 2 minutes? For those of you who don't know, it will. 37,777. All right.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Man, what are the people? The people that own this car were sitting there. They were probably slumped over their computers and all their car molding clay and all their art brushes, and just like, nobody likes us. And now they're like, woo!
So this is great. Somebody named, well, I don't know. They have a handle I can't even read. It's but they said quotation marks. They're like, "What's in the box?" 37,000.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? I'm like, that's a great comment.
Classic.
What's in the box? 37,000. What's in the box? That is fantastic.
My God. Well,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
38.5. Oh my God. Yeah.
Hopefully no ex-singers from the Backstreet Boys are buying this, because then you'll know what's in the box. Let's see,
the humanity, says Anderson, Brian, blah, 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 1986.
This car's going to beat 40, isn't it?
I think it's getting there, yeah. The question is now, you start looking at the next big thing. Does this go up to 50?
Yeah.
It's, JP, we got 61 bids. These guys are they're throwing haymakers. And what I appreciate, and maybe not everybody agrees with me, is that Cars and Bids has the shortest clock reset.
Yeah.
So he expedites right through his auction. The close of auctions don't drone on. If this action 61 bids was on Bring a Trailer, we would have signed off.
2 seconds.
It would take 45 minutes. Oh, there you go. There it is.
Looks like we may have found the end.
$38,500.
Sold
for $38,500. So who won it? Peter M.
Look at the comments pouring in. The 600, 620, 600 people are just like, what is going on?
Crazy.
Oh my God. Dick in a box. There you go. You just got it on wheels. We know what's in the box.
That's awesome.
$38,500. That is unbelievable money for the weirdest car that's ever been sold on any auction site.
Absolutely.
Ever. You can make no argument against that. Congratulations to the seller. Congratulations to the buyer of this car. I am jealous. I wanted this car hard. Clearly out of my low rent budget. I do like the idea that I probably could have rolled this into the elevator and brought it up to my unit and just parked it in here. Put it on its side, slid it into the
it's nice to know that it's sold at that price too. So I wonder where it'll be. And that's the thing. I wish we knew where the reserve had been set. That would have been very
my wife's. So I've tried to get my wife to let me park it like a Ducati in front of the big window facing the city.
Absolutely.
She's like, no. But she just came in and said we could have parked this in here. So
wow, yeah.
Maybe I should have spent the $39,000 to buy it.
Yeah, every night you could watch TV from your car.
It kind of looks like a bed. We could just put a mattress in the damn thing and be like, put it in the guest room. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there it is. Another week of Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites, including P-Car Market, Cars and Bids, Bring a Trailer, RAD For Sale, and more. Hemmings and whoever else has an auction site. We will be back not on Monday, but in just an hour and a half. We're going to do a live viewing of not the consumer car, but my personal GT3 wannabe 996 over on P-Car. That is closing somewhere around noon. Michael Deeb says 40 grand, and I would like to see that auction just go much longer than noon. So we'll see what happens when the hammer hits the sound block. And see if I'm in the poorhouse or in the happy house. We will see in just a little bit, guys. Thanks for watching a week of Bid Nerds. If you're not going to come back and join us a little later, come back on Monday. We do it every Monday through Friday. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, the notification button. Michael Deeb, see ya in just a little bit.
Later, buddy.